Welcome back. Joining us right now at the Canadian Science Policy Conference is Patrick Finn. You're with the University of Calgary.
Yes,
You're a performance expert.
I am.
How's my performance so far today?
It's fantastic. I'm very impressed.
Excellent. You've got more energy than me right off the bat.
Well, I had a lot of coffee earlier.
Fair enough. Tell me why a performance expert would be taking in a science conference.
Well, I'm fascinated by creativity and how we can be more creative and then take creativity and sort of take it to that next step where it's innovation. And so that happens anywhere. It's not just within the arts. And in fact, I find a lot of folks who are working in the sciences are the ones that are really used to always working at the forefront of knowledge. And so we have a lot to talk to each other about. And I think that from the artistic side, we can bring something to the scientists to help them stay creative and help them continuing to discover new things.
Okay, but often people think of these two groups as perhaps even being so much as diametrically opposed to each other.
Yes, exactly. And in fact, I think it's the opposite of that. I'll often talk to my friends that are artists that are looking for some help in how they can sort of refresh their careers in that, and I'll turn them towards the sciences. Because again, if we're committed to always finding the next idea and trying to contribute to society by engaging with discovery, that's the area of science. And so, in fact, I think that we're really quite closely connected. It's just that we haven't been talking to each other. So that's why I'm here, is to sort of keep that conversation going.
Fair enough. So do you think the arts should be called a science as well? Because I know you hear arts and science, so...
Well, and I do think that we're related, and so we do talk about sort of practice and application and things like that and discovery. So in a sense, we are like scientists. We are discovering new ideas, and so sure, why don't we call ourselves scientists? Then we could get those great lab coats too.
There you go, exactly. Then you'd be professor performance expert.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So what is a performance expert exactly?
Well, I look at performance in a whole variety of ways. So I end up doing consulting work for business, for government, for arts groups and things like that. But I also then study how do people perform their best? What helps you bring out the best in your type of work? How can I help you maybe find ways to work in more effective manner in your business, your practice, whatever that might be? So I study people that are successful in performance, and then I work with people to help them try and identify how they could be a little bit better at what they do with maybe a little less effort, because I think we find that people in general are working really hard. It's just that maybe we can work a little smarter.
So when I hear performance, right off the bat, I think actors and singers and stuff, but you're not talking about that necessarily when it comes to performance. You're talking about everyday life performance, career performance.
Right. Well, I think it's all the same. I think that what happens is creativity and innovation and entrepreneurship, all these types of things that we keep hearing people talk about, artists have a contribution to make to that conversation. And so I think that we have performance aspects in all of our lives. And so what's happened is in my work, I've ended up bringing that to a variety of different stakeholders. And so absolutely, I think that we all have areas within our lives where performance work can help us improve really every aspect of what we do.
Okay, your seminar today was called The Second Mouse Gets the Cheese.
Right.
Okay, that's the first part. Turning talk of creativity into a sustainable creative economy.
Right.
What did you mean by the second mouse gets the cheese?
Well, this is the famous thing where the first mouse rushes in and unfortunately is caught by the trap, and as such it's the second mouse that's able to get the cheese. And what we talked about is a variety of different ways where the idea of an individual genius, someone that works on their own and comes up with an idea, is really a bit of a myth. It happens, there are some exceptions to the rule, but really when great creative work happens, it's in collaboration. And so we wanted to talk about how important it is to hear a great idea, to be able to recognize a great idea when another person has it, to be able to share ideas, to be able to recognize what maybe the next big discovery is going to be. And so we examined a variety of different examples of that, and then we had the group inside come up with different ways to build a better mousetrap, and they did some tremendous work.
Well, they're physicists. They've all got Ph.D. after their name. They ought to be able to come up with something like that.
It's true. It's true.
Did you find them quite receptive to what you were trying to show them?
Yeah, they were fantastic.
Okay.
We had a lot of fun, and we actually had to stop them from working, coming up with ideas and things like that, and I think we've got some serious solutions. I think we're going to see some better mousetraps down the road.
But, I mean, this group obviously comes here because they're interested in learning about the current situation in Canada. They're interested in improving their situation, the country's situation as well. It's a willing audience.
Right.
You know, do you find that you usually encounter that, or is this group... I mean, these are type A people for the most part that have excelled at everything that they do.
Right.
You know, so why would they not get involved in this?
Yeah, and I think too, whenever you offer somebody a different way to look at things that will help them in their work, they're going to be engaged. So I think that these ideas have resonance with a lot of different people, but certainly this is a very particular and very special group. I think that they feel yes, they want to sort of be working on their areas of interest and their passions in that, but I think they also feel a sense of responsibility because, of course, Canadian society is looking to these people to help them with challenges and to help sort of build the economy to find the next big sort of thing out there. And so it's exciting to see that they're willing to try and continue to think in new ways in order to better sort of serve Canadians.
Okay, when you hear the term sustainable creative economy, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means oftentimes what we'll find is that somebody can be creative once. Or somebody can have a bit of a creative spell. But if we're really going to end up becoming innovators long term, we have to be able to find creativity and then sustain it, meaning maintain it. How do we stay creative? So if you and I are, say, an artistic partnership or musicians or something like that, maybe we record one good CD.
Actually, I'd be the guy turning on the machine.
Okay.
If we were collaborating on music, I'd be the guy. I'd be turning on the amp for you.
Well, as long as you got that right, that'd be great.
Fair
But so
enough.
it's just how do we stay fresh inside of that? How do we make sure that we can continue to create? Because I think you hear there with the global economy and with all of the changes in technology, there's so much more going on that we just really require a lot more of our scientists, our technology experts, our engineers, and our artists.
When you look at a conference like this, because I think a lot of people might be surprised that somebody like yourself, or actually your session, would be held with a bunch of scientists. So when you look at a conference like this, what sort of benefits do you see coming from it?
Well, I think any time that you're going to get together people that are talking about ideas, our whole session is about the fact that bringing people together to share ideas and being able to hear those ideas helps each of us in our own particular performance. So bringing together the best and the brightest from across the country, there's just something about being in the same room together, talking about ideas, looking at different perspectives that is going to be able to have everybody go home with stuff that's going to nourish them in their type of work. So it's always great to get people together. There's all of the different sort of technology supports. When folks go home, they can stay in touch by Skype and email, but nothing beats face-to-face, banging out those ideas and thinking about what's next.
Wonderful. Patrick, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right. We've been chatting with Patrick Finn with the University of Calgary. He's a performance expert there.